All right, everybody, so I'm going to take you on another tour. Obviously, the window needs a little clean. They did some painting in here and obviously, didn't bother keeping the windows clean. Got a tub full of groceries. Yeah, having roach traps right on top of the grocery thing is perfect for a video that's going to go out worldwide on YouTube. But you need critter traps in Texas. I've used ant traps, and I caught 2 roaches in the tiny shithole that I lived in before. I saw one day, and it freaked me the hell out, and I went and bought roach traps, and I caught it. And then about a month later, 2 months later, I caught another one. I kept the trap hidden in the corner. And so it wasn't like I had an infestation. And even my best friend said, "Hey man, you live in Texas. I've seen nice people's houses have roaches in them." And I'm like, I don't know, man. That was creeping me out. Better than having a scorpion show up in my bed or a black widow spider. We saw a gigantic spider, or a really nasty looking spider, yesterday when we were moving out. Not inside the tiny house, but out in the yard. He had a net strung up, but as we were going back and forth, it was like he was done fishing for the day, and he pulled his net up, and then we watched him go into the slumlord's house. So we're like, okay, he lives there. Anyway, this is like half of the day gone on June 1st, the first day I'm living here. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through and tell you what my plans are, because I've kind of had some time to think about what I'm going to do with this space and how I'm going to organize it and what I'm going to do. It's going to be more functional than beautiful, because that's what it is. My interior design buddy here on the channel is probably going to be pissed off at me, but it is what it is. I'm going to get plants. I'm going to make this place feel nice. I don't like, the windows are kind of crappy, but I'm going to let the natural light in. I'm no longer going to have to live in that dark, fucking horrible cave that I was living in before. I want light. During the day, I don't even have to turn on the lights. There's enough light in here. It feels nice. Anyway, we got a sink, we got a countertop. I got cleaning and sorting to do here, obviously. I needed to put space between the oven and the fridge. This little cabinet here came with the place. It was already here. It's more of like a TV stand, but I decided to make it a little pantry stand. I was thinking about putting a baker's rack here, getting a baker's rack on, I don't know. And if I could see myself getting a baker's rack to go in that space. They're not that expensive, about the same width. So I might get a baker's rack to go in that space and do something else. I think that cabinet then would become part of my office setup. Big ass fridge. The fridge is way too big for the space. From a design standpoint, it sticks out too far from the wall and it's too big. And I tried to figure out, like, mentally yesterday, where else could I put the thing? That's where it's going to go. There's no outlets here in the corner. So anyway, this corner over here, I've decided this is going to be my bicycle/workshop area. I'm going to put a workbench here, a 45-inch workbench that's 24 inches deep, and it has pegboard built into it. And I'm going to set that up and put a little bar stool next to it. And that'll be multi-purpose. It'll be a workbench that I can use for working on my bicycles. It can be a workbench for working on my camera gear or anything that I got to take apart and fix. It'll have nice lighting. bright lighting. The lights up here are pretty bright as well. So it'll have nice bright lighting. I can sit there and work on things. I could also sit there and eat if I want to. I mean, I'm going to keep the thing clean. I'm not doing grungy stuff to the point where you can't keep the space clean, the thing clean. I'm going to put a rubber mat on the floor so that if I am working on bicycles here, any drips or lubricant that falls off. For right now, I'm just going to keep that folding table here as a space. Ironically, right where that corner of that table is, the refrigerator door cannot open any more than that. So the door, it looks like that interferes with the door. It doesn't interfere at all. And that's only temporary because the workbench is kind of expensive. I would say for all the upgrades and modifications that I want to do to this place and to set it up to be my cozy, perfectly designed home, it's going to cost me about $1,200 to $1,500 to buy all the things, maybe more. I was talking earlier about doing U-Haul truck. Well, I did some more research on that. They have multi-day rental rates. If I want to rent a U-Haul for more than a 1 day, it's like $80-something a day, and you get 100 miles included with that. So basically a 3-day rental for a U-Haul pickup truck is going to be about $300 if I have to do that because I've got to get back and forth to this new job. But having a pickup truck also means that I can go pick things up and I can possibly furnish my space on a dirt cheap level compared, I might be able to spend just as much money to rent a pickup truck to go back and forth to Houston and line up deals for some of the stuff that I need to fill my space and end up spending the same amount of money to rent the truck and fill the space that I would ordering everything on Amazon to fill the space. But these are all like kind of long-term plans. These are, this isn't something I plan on doing in a day, but once I set my mind to something, I typically try to get it done as fast as I can, regardless what I have to sacrifice. Bicycles. I'm getting a 2-tier bicycle storage rack that doesn't even have to screw into the wall. It's a really high quality. It's called the Ceres Bike Bunk 2. It just leans up against the wall with its own weight, and the weight of the bicycles actually cements it up against the wall. So that's the space it's going to take up. The Red Rocket will be on the bottom. The Cannondale will be above it. They'll be sideways mounted. There are other ways to mount bicycles, but this is the narrowest approach to mounting my bicycles in terms of, because all the rooms in this place are narrow. It's all 10 feet wide. So I've got to conserve as much space as I can from the walls. That's why this refrigerator gets on my nerves, because I wish I had a refrigerator that was that didn't stick out so far from the wall. Because in a narrow room like this, 6 inches sticking out too far into the room adds up. But once I get all this put away and figure everything out, I'm going to get a lot farther today with this. But I'm going to have 2 bikes stacked on top of each other right when you come in. I'll have curtains on these windows so you won't be able to just look in. I'm getting a deadbolt put on this door. I'm going to have some other interior. I'm going to have some like locks that I can lock when I'm inside. But this is a quiet neighborhood. I keep being told by multiple people that nothing ever happens here. I'll take their word for it, but I'll also make sure that I'm safe. I heard the sirens earlier. It was fire trucks. So it's not, I haven't heard cop sirens go by. At the last place I lived, you'd hear cops drive by 50 times a day. Easily. So that's what I'm going to do with the bicycles. There's going to be 2 bicycles stacked on top of each other, facing that direction. That's how much space the rack is going to take up. And I put my Cannondale there with my homemade bicycle rack just so that I can plan the space and start putting other things in here. Now this area here is going to be my workspace row. And the fact that my desks are so narrow, but I can pull this out as needed. So that's the same workspace I've already had. But I'm going to have my printer, my files there. I've got a compact printer that sits there. And I'll be able to, I've got a lot of sorting of papers and crap that I've never been able to do since the day I came to Houston, and I plan on doing that. That's going to be important. This space might evolve a little bit differently. I might get I would like to have a bigger, better desk. But for now, I'm just going to stick with what I have and keep it compact and just roll with it because it's been working for me for a while. I don't need to put my router on that little table anymore, so it gives me a little more space. But I do have a little bit more space to deal with here, and I obviously can't go any further than the end of this desk because I need to have this space for my bicycles. So that's how I'm going to do that. This bicycle's, all this over here is just temporary until I get a workbench put in. But the workbench is going to be, basically this first room is kind of like work. Either I'm going to be cooking and making food, or I'm going to be working on a project over here, or I'm going to be working over here, work, or I'm going to be working on my fitness over there. Work. Everything in this room is basically work and doing things. So the next room is going to be for relaxing and chilling and for storing things. So this is where the bedroom is. I'm going to get a full-size bed. I thought about getting a queen. Queen's going to be too big. Queen would come all the way to the wall here, and it would stick out so far that I would have a hard time coming in and out of this room with these shelves here. It would create the gap would be about where the Crocs are to the shelf there. That's about how much of a gap I would have to walk through here. And I'm going to be stubbing my toe on the frame of that bed and getting pissed off all the time. A full-size bed is fine. I'm too old, and if I ever want to have a special someone come over and have a little company at night, you know what I'm saying? Like, a bed that big ain't gonna cut it. I mean, this is a camping cot. It's a wonderful, wonderful camping cot. This thing is incredibly comfortable. I've been sleeping on this thing for 4 months, and I have no problems with my back. It doesn't hurt at all. This is straight up memory foam. And then when you have a cot underneath, there's a little bit of give. The cot in and of itself, I've gone on long road trips taking a camping cot and just slept on the cot. You add that memory foam pad, oh, it's nice. It's comfortable. But it's not, this was never meant to be a long-term thing, but in that tiny shithole, it fit perfect. But now I can get a big boy bed, but it's going to have to be a full size. I made up my mind on that. Here, I'm going to take my dirty mac and cheese dish out of the way here. Bring that to the kitchen real quick. Got my water filter. Let's set that there for now. Water filter, and I'm going to put a microwave here and some other stuff. And then this cabinet here, it's going to start out as a kitchen thing, but if I have to figure out how to integrate it over here, and that might mean taking my little camp thing here and finding another place for it or storing it somewhere, that thing gets to be a little bit more compact. You can zip it all up, and the legs shorten, and that table on top folds away and has a compartment in it for it. So that table folds up into a tiny little space, tiny little bag. It's very flimsy, but I've had this thing for years, and it comes in handy all the time, but it fits in a tiny little bag, so putting it away is no big deal. But back to the bedroom. Full-size bed. I'm going to try and get a 2-seat love seat kind of a thing here with an ottoman in front of it. And then I already got the storage shelves, and I'm working on that. So all these bags, all these different piles of stuff you see are all going to be basically put on these shelves and in a handful of matching totes. I'm going to get rid of any totes that don't match the exact same style. I had to get red lids yesterday because they were out of yellow lids. So those are the 2 I bought yesterday. But these mismatched ones, even though these Rubbermaid roughneck totes are the best, but they're so expensive right now. But they are my favorite tote. But these Home Depot ones are okay. Any of them the ones that don't match, there's going to be a bunch of empty totes by the time I'm done pulling all this stuff out. And I'm just going to take all the empty totes and store them underneath the house here, because there's room underneath it. There's nothing down there. They'll be protected from the elements to some extent, and I'm just going to keep... That's one thing I will store outside, is just whatever totes that I get that are empty, I'm going to take them out there and just store them out there. I got to rearrange the shelf height on this thing a little bit. But basically, I'm going to have storage on this wall, storage here, a love seat here, ultimately, a bed right here, and then the love seat will have like an ottoman or a coffee table or something like that. And then I'll mount a TV in here somewhere in between these 2 shelves and have the love seat centered on that, so it's kind of like a movie theater kind of setup, you know. And so that pretty much covers it. The bathroom now, I told you the shower wasn't working. This is really I shouldn't even be showing this right now. This obviously needs cleaned, and I'm going to put in some serious elbow grease on cleaning that. It needs a valve. The shower head's new, but then I noticed, I'm like, wait a minute, there's no faucet to fill up the tub. Like, what the hell is this? Like, this is some ghetto shit right there. So I told the landlord about that, and he laughed, and he was like, the plumber's coming tomorrow to fix all of this. That drain plug is fucked. So the plumber's coming tomorrow to fix this and to get it all working. And he was like, if I can get the plumber to put in a faucet there, if it's not a big deal, we're going to do it. But if not, if I have to go ghetto style, all I'm going to get is a T-splitter for the top here and run a hose, a shower hose, you know, like a hose that you would use for a handheld shower unit. And I'm just going to run a hose that you can coil up and clip somewhere and make it look nice. But also you can uncoil it and use it to fill the bathtub. And the portable washing machine that I'm going to get, having a long hose coming from there down would allow me to fill the bathtub and the washing machine, which will sit in the bathtub when it's being used. Because there's no laundry hookups in here. I'm going to put a curtain around this. I'm going to find a round bar. I'm going to have to do some homework on that. And then I'm just going to hang a curtain around this water heater so that it doesn't look ghetto. They got to put the cover on that. It's sitting right there. They just put this water heater in the other day. Toilet's actually really nice toilet. It's got the number 1 and the number 2 button. So you drop a number 1, you push that. You drop a deuce, you hit that. It's the eco, but it's the first toilet. This is literally the first toilet that I've had since I got out of prison where the lid stays up. When you pull the lid up, it stays up. Every single toilet I've had every single toilet that I've used everywhere I've been since I came out of prison. You pull the lid up to take a pee and the lid falls down. And you put it back up and then the lid falls down. And you're constantly having to try and hold your wang while you're taking a leak and keeping the lid from falling down and breaking the stream and splattering pee all over the place. So that's a good sign. For me right there, that's a big deal. Having a toilet seat that stays up when you pull it up. Like that's it's so amazing to me right now. Like the small things, I'm impressed by little things right now. And that is a little thing. Now, as dirty as this bathtub is right now, I don't even want to show it to you, but I don't even want to tell you that I did this, but I mean, fuck it, man. I go camping all the time. I've done dirtier shit than this. I sat in it today. I sat in it. It's got that recliner, and I sat in it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a lot deeper than it looks. My feet don't even touch the upper drain. I can extend my entire legs out, and my top of my feet don't even touch the bottom of that drain. So that is like straight up. I'm going to be chilling like Tony Montana after about 6 gallons of bleach go through that thing, scrub brushes, and it's gonna take a lot of bleach and elbow grease to get that clean. But one way or another, I'll make it so that I can fill that tub and it doesn't look like a ghetto piece of shit. But this isn't my house, so I am not going to do a proper fix on that like I would if it was my own place. But I will turn a rental into a paradise if I need to. So obviously these windows here you can't really see, but they're crap. They're fogged. I believe they're dirty on the inside. If they're dirty on the outside and I can go out there and clean them, or somehow they don't even have the ability to I don't know if Windex can take care of that because it's on the outside. Awesome. But I have a feeling that these things, there's a seal on these shitty, cheap-ass double-pane windows. They usually have some kind of seal that when that air seal breaks, humidity gets in there and they fog up, and that's the end of it. You can't do anything about it. And so, either way, this is the bedroom. I don't want people looking in here when I'm walking around with my thing hanging out and I'm not wearing any clothes. So, I'm not going to have windows in here that I can just look out anytime. I'm going to get pull down blackout shades, and I'm going to get some nice curtains for the windows there. This window in the bathroom probably just needs a curtain that's somewhat translucent that lets the light, there's nobody here to look at me when I'm in here, but it is a little bit too what's the word? It's still a little bit paranoia inducing. Like, I still want to have something covering this that you can't see in, and see me walk. I don't want some, nobody's going to be able to watch me taking a dump. But I still don't want that to be like, I want it to be a window that I can kind of adjust as I feel comfortable. But I still want to let all the natural light in. So there's also film that you can get. I could put some translucent film on the windows to frost them that you can just peel off when I move, or just leave it, but it won't do any permanent damage. And that translucent film will make it so people can't just look in, and it makes the windows look better, but then I won't be able to see out. I won't. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do about that. The windows up here, curtains, but I'm not going to get blackout shades for these. I'm just going to get some curtains and make it so that I can, something so that people can't just look in the window and see what's in here, but also so the light can come in. So this is like where I'm at. It's not really that great in terms of a view out these windows, but I'm really digging walking around in some natural light today, that's for sure. And so it's just going to be functional, but I'm going to get plants. I'm going to hang pictures on the wall. I'm going to order my own prints from my photo lab, both landscapes and stuff that make me happy to look at, but also photos of my kids and different things that I'll actually want to see, and just it'll make it feel more like a home. And let's see. I think that pretty much covers it. This is a long process. All the stuff I've just talked about that I'm going to do, including, sorting stuff out. I've got time to now go through everything I brought in here. And I can sell some stuff, get rid of some stuff. I've got camera gear to like, I literally got to go through every single piece of camera equipment that I have and assess whether it's worth fixing or not, because some of that shit got, I don't even want to talk about it. It gives me a pit in my stomach because my camera equipment was so trashed when I picked it up after it was being stored only for 4 months, and it was so fucking bad. And it was like, that was like having a hole ripped out of my soul when I saw my camera equipment like that. Because that's the one thing, that's the one and only thing that I needed to be preserved and not messed with. And it's the one thing that got pretty much fucking destroyed. And, oh my God, it makes me sick to even think about it. Because that's my art. That's like it's the one thing I can use to pull myself out of this misery that I'm living in. But without a car, without the means to get around, even if my photography equipment was in perfect condition, I wouldn't really have the ability to do anything about it right now. I would just be storing it and waiting for the day that I go out and start doing that regularly again. But I would be doing, well, I don't know. That's about. I'm only going to talk about it that much. It hurts real bad knowing that my camera gear got so fucked up. But if I go through it on an individual basis, get the tools that I need to pull the lenses apart and actually clean everything thoroughly, there's a chance that I can recover a good deal of the equipment and make it usable again. And some of the stuff is cheap to replace because it's so old and may not even want to be replaced because of its age. I don't know, but there's some lenses that were given. There's cameras and lenses that were given to me by my grandfather when he died. And so like there's an emotional toll that I'm literally going to be a basket case when I work on my camera equipment. And I keep putting it off because of the anxiety it gives me. But that's my place. That's the tour. Number one thing that's great about this place is I can shut the door. I can take a dump. When I come out of the bathroom, I can shut the door. If I can shut it. Nope. Oh, get out of the way. I can shut the door. And when I go to bed at night, or when I'm gone for the day, or whatever, I can take this door after I get this bicycle out of the way. Boom. Now I got a straight up bedroom. And I'm in here. And it's quieter. There's a little air gap there between the two rooms to help the AC unit flow. Yesterday was really hot. The AC really didn't do much. It was really hot and the AC didn't feel like it was doing anything. Today, I had to turn the AC down. So I think letting the air conditioner run all night, really cold, has helped with today's level of heat. And it doesn't seem like it's as sunny out today as it was yesterday. It's a little bit cloudier. That's probably helping a little bit. It doesn't feel like it's as hot outside as it was yesterday, but that's, the tiny shithole dump that I was living in. I could keep that thing at 50 degrees if I wanted to. I could freeze to death in there. But this place, even that mini split, it looks powerful, and it is powerful. It blows out ice cold air, but for some reason it's just not. Yesterday, it wasn't cooling anything off within 4 feet of it. So I don't know. That might be when we start to get our 110 degree days here in Houston or whatever it goes up to. That might be a challenge. I might have to get a second air conditioner for one of these windows here, or some sort of portable air conditioner that sits on the floor and has a hose that goes out the window. I don't know. There's a lot of different options there. But yeah, there's a lot of different options there for different things. But kind of yesterday and today, I just walked, I kept, as I was unpacking and trying to, figure out some stuff. Now that I'm in the space, I'm walking around with a tape measure all day, just trying to figure things out. I'm like, all the things I just kind of ran through in my description of what I want to do here all just kind of came to my mind yesterday as I was, thinking about all this stuff. And, I've got other ideas, but I signed a 1-year lease to live here. And within 2 months, I want it to be like a home. I want it to be organized, tidy, and I want to have all the furniture or whatever you want to call it, a workbench for the first room. I don't want to call it a kitchen. It's like a kitchen slash office slash workshop. The kitchen office workshop. I want to make sure, I want to get that done. The bedroom, I think the first thing I'm going to buy is the bike rack and the portable washing machine. And I may or may not get a dryer. I don't know. There's portable dryers. They're hit or miss on the reviews. I can just hang up clothes to dry for now because these portable washing machines have a much more powerful spin cycle than a regular washing machine does, and the clothes come out pretty damn dry from the spin cycle. I've used one. I never used it, but I watched someone use it, and my clothes were washed in one, and when they came out of the thing, they were almost bone dry, and you just have to hang them up on a rack for a few hours, and they'd be dry, and you could put them away. So the washing machine is a definite. I need to get that. The dryer is the portable dryer that runs on a 110 outlet, RV size kind of a dryer, though that's going to be kind of a secondary thing. I'm going to get a bed before I get the workbench. So I have priorities on which things I'll do first and which things I'll put off. But I'm going to say that $2,000 or less will cover every single thing I want to do to this place in terms of expensive major things that I'm going to need to have room for. And then if things work out in Houston and I decide to stay here, I'll need to get a box truck the next time I move instead of a van. So a box truck instead of a van. And if I'm lucky enough and whatever, if I'm lucky enough and if I have enough time in advance to do research and figure it out, I might not have to get a U-Haul box truck. I might be able to get a better box truck from Penske or Ryder or one of those companies. And sometimes those are even cheaper than U-Haul because they're not screwing you, $1 a mile. They're just giving you an included number of miles, or they're just renting it out for the day for an unlimited number of miles, and you're just paying a flat rate. The trucks are better, but that van I rented yesterday wasn't bad at all. It was almost brand new. I think it had 287 miles on it total. So it was almost a brand spanking new van. I had no problems with it. I mean, I drove less than 20 miles with it overall, but I had no problems. It was easy to maneuver. Box trucks suck to drive. They suck to maneuver. That's why I wanted to get a cargo van. I didn't want to have to screw around with even a 12-foot box truck would be a pain. That would have been a nightmare to deal with a 12-foot box truck at that place. Plus, it would have been overkill. We fit everything in the back of a 10-foot cargo van. So it all worked out. But the next time, if I did a cargo van, I'd need to make more than one trip. The wire shelving units I picked up yesterday. 2 of them. I already had one. Garbage can, shower curtain rod, and shower stuff. And I think there was one other thing I threw in there. I can't remember now. I'm beat. I'm so tired. But I'm going to set the place up the best I can with what I have today, tomorrow, through the week, and just make it as good as I possibly can. I am going to, as soon as I get my computers up and running, I'm going to order the bicycle rack and the washing machine. I'm not, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going to the laundromat. If I don't have to go to the laundromat, I'm never going to the laundromat. So I'm going to order I'm going to order the washing machine and the bike. The bicycles are getting in my way. I can't, the Cannondale, that's fine sitting where it is, but the second bike, I don't know where to put I'm constantly trying to figure out where to put it. And then the bed, I'll probably order the bed and the workbench at the same time, because that workspace, that I don't like the way that looks there. It's functional. If I have to take apart a bike or do something to my bicycle, I can do it right there, and everything's already set up and ready to go. So it's there. The workspace is there. It's just not. It's going to be better. But I don't want to go and just spend all the money I have. I'm trying to get a car. I'm trying to do other things. I've got to figure out what's going on with this job lead. Am I going to get a job? Am I not going to get a job? I've got freelance work to get done. I got to really dig deep on that and get that done. I got to go to the bakery tomorrow. I've got to go to the bakery on Saturday. I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to figure some shit out here. Get some work done. Get used to the flow and all that stuff. I'm going to have the landlord coming in and out tomorrow, maybe beyond that. There's basically 3 projects. Bathtub, they got to finish. There's something wrong with the 220 outlet for the oven, so they got to fix that tomorrow. And the third project's getting a better lock for the front door. If those 3 things get done in a timely fashion, then I will feel a lot better. I don't feel bad. I feel a million times better than I did at that dump. Oh my goodness, dude. Like, so many things. Just the floor. Just having a floor, like a real floor, it feels good. That tiny shithole, the floor in that tiny house was so flimsy that every time I took a step, things on the opposite wall would shake. The whole building would shake just from walking in it. I could walk in the front door and take a step, and my scale on the opposite corner of the building, of the shack, whatever it was, my scale would light up because the vibrations going through the floor would cause the scale to turn on. You could see water. If you had a thing of water on the countertop where I would cook my food, as soon as I walk into the tiny house, you can see the water jiggling in the thing because the vibrations going through the floor, and it's like bad. Like those, I would not be surprised that within a certain amount of time, because he never did a good job caulking around the shower, those floors are going to rot out. At some point, that floor is going to rot out. He was talking about, instead of the fly paper or whatever the fuck, the Scotch tape, floor tape that he put down for the floor in that thing, that would just peel off. It would just rip up. You didn't have to do anything. You could walk across the place, turn around, and half the floor peeled off just because of your footprints, your footsteps. People who came in to work on the hot water, they'd walk in and out, in and out, in and out. I'd come home, the floor would be completely destroyed. And I would just take black Gorilla duct tape and cover it and patch it wherever and finally I just fucking gave up on it. The landlord said, don't even worry about it. I'm going to put down epoxy. When you leave, he said he's going to put down an epoxy coating on the floor. Kind of like what people do on their garage floors. But what he's going to find when he does that is all the seams in the floorboards, because it's not plywood. It's like literally like this shitty fucking... I'm telling you, if I stomped my feet in that place, they would go right through the floor. What he's going to find is that epoxy is going to crack every place that there is a joint between the floorboards. Because there's so much flex in those floorboards that I'm telling you, if he puts down an epoxy floor, the gaps in the fucking floorboards it's gonna rip that epoxy apart. It's gonna fall apart just as bad as the floor already did. I'm sure he's counting the shitty way the floor looks as part of the damages I did to the place, which that was his own cheapskate bullshit, putting in a shitty floor. That's his fault. But he even told me many times while I was living there, no, don't worry about that fucking floor. He's like, that floor sucks. I'm going to put it in an epoxy floor when you leave. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But then I leave, and he's like, oh, look at all the damage you did to my floor. Fuck you. Oh, my God. I wish I took you on the tour. I wanted to take a video of the place after I got everything out of it and really like talk about all the horrible things this guy had done in terms of repairs and just his shit, just the shitty way he did everything in there. I wish I could show you all the details like up close, because it's so bad. It was so bad. I'm telling you, a couple of 5th graders building a fucking tree fort would do a better job than this fucking dipshit did building a tiny house. I'm telling you, I could have made a better tree fort when I was in the 6th grade than this guy did building a tiny house. I'm not joking. This place here, it's got a couple problems. The landlord's already said, he's like, I'm going to discount. He's like, I'm going to take money off your rent for the hassle. He's already, I'm cool. So far, he's got no beef with me. I've been through some shit. I've got some patience for this kind of stuff. I went 3 months without hot water. If I have to go to the empty building next door, there's another house right there. He just left it open for me. I can go in there if I want to use the oven. I can go there and use the oven. It's like 20, it's walkable. It's right there. If I want to go take the shower in there, so be it. The only reason I didn't want to use, so in the tiny house, when he offered me to go in the house and use the shower and the kitchen and all the different things, I didn't want to be in that house. That house was fucking creepy it was just so weird. So fucking weird. And the vibe, the negative energy was just so bad. I couldn't stand being inside that guy's house, even just to go do the laundry. And because he has 3 people living in bedrooms that rent bedrooms from him, you can't come and go from the house without having to have a conversation with somebody. And it was like, I don't want to talk shit about the people that lived there, because the 2 that I got to know were friendly and I never had any beef with them. But it did feel like I was living in some sort of weird ass halfway house. But everything was just kind of, I can't describe it other than like, it was just fucking weird. It was fucking weird. I did not like it at all. I could literally not, literally, just like I always say, I could not stand going inside that house just to do my laundry and come out and go back. I couldn't stand coming in this gate, the front gate that I would have to open to go around the house to the tiny house was so rickety and falling apart that every time I opened the door to it, I thought the door was just going to fall off. But thankfully it didn't, especially yesterday. And so anytime I go in and out of that gate and have to go around to the back of the house, there's always people sitting out on the back patio watching this TV, and it's just, the best way I can describe it is it felt like I was going to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting and someone showed up with a keg. That's what it felt like, going around the back there, and I'm just like, come on. That's why I always made a beeline to the tiny house, shut the door, pretended I'm somewhere else. And then the only time I ever opened that door was to come and go. I never spent... One or two times I set up a little workspace in the patio to work on my bicycles. But then the next time I had to do a bicycle maintenance day, I'm like, I'm doing it in here. I don't even want to go out there, because then I'm going to have to talk to a bunch of people. And I'm not in that mode. I just got out of prison, all these things. I just finally got my own place. I just want to chill the fuck out and be left alone. That's where I was at. So I don't have anything against... In fact, the other people that live there are the reason why I was able to find out all this fucking shit about this asshole, is because they were the ones that told me to go look it up. And they were on the backside of everything, they didn't like him. They told me a lot of stuff. And they're just like, yeah, you gotta watch out for him. He's a bit of a fucking con artist and all this and that. And like, I was trying to give the dude the benefit of the doubt on that hot water. But then the day that he threatened to throw me out without even going through the court for an eviction, like he was just literally gonna... Like, this fucking scumbag Slimeball would literally have let himself into my place and started throwing my stuff out into the street or taking it out to the side of the road without ever going to a court or getting a court order or anything like that. At which point I could turn around and have him charged with theft. And I mean, if he would have pulled a crime like that, he'd be going to prison because of that felony that he did. He's already been back to the judge 3 times to have his probation extended because he keeps fucking up. How many more times is he going to be allowed to fuck up like that before the judge is like, all right, 5 years in prison you go. So, but as funny as that would be, excuse me, as funny as that would be, I don't want to go through the hassle that would have caused me to have to go scramble to protect myself when he's throwing my shit out in the street and changing the locks on the door. And who knows, if I had told him on the 18th that I'm moving out at the end of the month, that psychotic fucking nut job might have changed the locks on the building and told me that if I come back, if I set foot on his property, he's going to have me charged with trespassing, even though I paid for the rest of the month. So, I don't know. That guy was very unstable. His court records show that he's divorced. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that a woman didn't want to be with him anymore. Boy, that really doesn't surprise me a whole lot. But I'm sure it was all her fault. I wouldn't go so far as to say that it was all his fault. Women aren't that great these days. So, I mean, maybe, maybe they were good for each other. And maybe they both fucked it up. Maybe they both played a part. But all I'm saying is this guy, I'm so glad to be done with it. The negative energy is done. I'm gonna do one video where I tell you the whole thing from beginning to end, and I don't know if I'm gonna put his name in it. I mean, his fucking driver's license is... You search for this guy's name, and you'll find a picture of his fucking driver's license because somebody posted on ripoffreport.com or Yelp or one of these review websites. Someone posted his fucking driver's license on there, and it's on there. You do a Google search for this guy, and his fucking driver's license shows up. It's hilarious because he scammed somebody, and they're like, this is the guy to watch out for. So, I mean, if I were to put a picture of his driver's license in a video. It's freely available on the internet. I don't know. Like, all I'm saying is I don't need the drama that could come at me if I do that. So I'm going to tell you the whole story from beginning to end, and whatever there's probably a lot of stuff I didn't say because I was in the middle of it and going through it. But I will tell you the whole story, but I'm not going to tell you who he is, where he lives. I'm not going to give you his phone number. I'm not going to tell you the name of his business. I'm not going to do any of that. But I will share everything I found out and everything I went through, because it's so absurd. It's I mean, if things were different, I just don't want to set myself up to go through. I need to be, see, the thing is, when I left that property yesterday, the stress relief the relief that came over me as soon as I drove away from that house was so significant and so awesome that it just, all that showed me is I need to stay as far away from that negative energy as possible. So I need to wrap this up, do the video I told you I'd do about the beginning to end about this place, tell you the whole story, give you some tips about how to avoid something like that in the future, all the things that I can think of that I could have done. I was in a hurry, and this fixed my problem at the time. But had I known how to do a better job apartment hunting and stuff like that, I could have done better. I could have done better. But in the end, it's all good. I've got a couple of problems here to work out. Some of you called out in the comments on the videos that are up today. You're going through the part where I was getting jerked around by that landlord with the 2-story garage apartment. Beautiful apartment. Beautiful apartment. Really, really nice apartment. I wouldn't call it luxury living by any stretch, but it was very, very well built. Very nice. But some of you said that guy sounds like he'll be a pain in the ass. I've said many times since those videos were recorded, you haven't seen it yet, I felt the same way. At first I thought he was just being, cautious, doesn't want some riffraff moving in. But then the more I talked to him, after he jerked me around one more time and I said, all right, I'm done, and I made my decision to go with this place, I just started thinking about it. I'm like, this guy's going to be he might be a good landlord in terms of fixing stuff and keeping stuff maintained, but he's going to be hovering over me nonstop. He lives right there in the house, right next to where I live. And he's going to be coming over all the fucking time. He's going to be criticizing anything I do. He's going to be criticizing. He's going to be micromanaging me as a tenant, is what I got. Whoever moves into that place, they're going to be taken by how nice it is. And they're going to be like, oh, this is beautiful. I love this place, blah, blah, blah. And then they're going to be dealing with a micromanaging landlord who's up their ass every day about the smallest little things. And that might be the kind of place that you have to have cameras up all the time, because you might be dealing with a micromanaging landlord who just decides to let himself into your place whenever he wants to go in and have a look around and see what's going on and whatnot. So I would be very hesitant. I would have taken the place if the guy said yes, but after the third, I went and looked at the place. I was ready to do it right then. I would have gone to take out, I would have gone to the ATM or whatever. I would have gone to get a money order because it was Sunday. Banks aren't open. I would have done something to put the money down and hold that place for me. Then he goes, well, I've got a bunch of people who are coming to look at it. I want to let them come. I'm going to make a decision by Saturday. And I'm like, okay. Saturday came. I sent him a couple of short texts during the week just to let him know I'm interested. Keep me on, just to keep my name in his, keep myself in the front view, I guess you could say. Like, keep myself in view. Like, hey, I'm ready to do this. Saturday comes around. He goes, well, he's like, I got some more people that want to come and look at it, and I'm going to make a decision by, he says, Thursday. I waited until Sunday to call him. And I called him on Sunday, and he said, I'm going to make my decision on Thursday. And so I called him on Thursday. He told me to call, and what time he told me to call. And he goes, well, I got some more people that are coming to look at it, and so I'm really going to make up my decision by Saturday. But after I hung up the phone, I was like, it's fucking done, dude. I'm not doing this again. And that's when I made my decision. That Thursday was the last day. That was the 15th. I'm like, I need to make a decision. I said, I am making a decision on the 15th. I'm not going to go past the 15th without knowing what I'm doing. So on that day, I reached out to this guy here. And he still had the place available. And the deal still stood about splitting the down payment over 2 months for the security deposit. He offered that deal to me. I didn't ask. He just decided to try and make it easy for me. And I was like, okay. He was probably trying to sell it, get it done. And I said, yeah, I got to go look at a couple other places, but I didn't jerk the guy around. I just told him I'd get back to him, and then a couple more weeks went by, and I really tried. In fact, a month went by, but the place was still showing as available on Facebook Marketplace. And he had even refreshed the post date of the ad to bring it up in the search results. And so I was like, if it's still saying it's available, I texted the guy on Thursday after I completely made up my mind, and it was pretty much a done deal at that point. I said, I'll come over this weekend and I can give you the down payment and whatnot. We'll do this. It was supposed to be, Sunday. We agreed on Sunday meeting up, came over, and it all goes from there. Next 2 weeks were just me getting my shit together to come over here. And it all worked out. I'm in good shape. I feel good about this. I feel good about this decision. The landlord doesn't live here. I thought he did at first. I thought there was a house back on the other side of this property. Where I live right now, pretty much every property that I drive past here or drive my bike past here, they're all like a gate with multiple houses back behind the gate. The one that I can see outside the bathroom window here, there's like 1, 2, 3, there's like 4 houses all on the same lot with a gate at the end of the driveway. The one next door to me on the other side, it has the same thing, but one of the houses that I can see back there looks like a freaking mansion. Like, it's big, and it's like, whoa, that looks like, quite a house. So I don't know what's going on, but it seems like the kind of thing where someone bought some land and they built like 3 or 4 houses on it, and that's where the whole family lives. I've seen shit. Well, that's what my grandfather did. He bought 400 acres of farmland and gave all the land to his kids. And so all the houses on this one road I lived on were all aunts and uncles and family members. And it has changed a little bit over the years and divulged and split apart. Some family still owns their parts, but other parts have been sold off to, whoever lives there now. Some people, got rid, some people left the family farm, if you will, and sold their homes and the land with it. But I've seen that a lot. I know a lot of people who grew up on farms where there's 5 or 6 houses on a huge piece of land, but it was all, it was all grandpa's land that he bought when he built his farm, and he gave the land out to his kids and then their kids, etc. And so everybody's got houses built on it, but it's all one family. So I feel like that's what's going on here, on a smaller scale. And that's what I thought I was signing up for here, that the landlord would live right here. He lives about 5 minutes away. I know where he lives. I have his address. He lives in a gated community. So he's got a little bit of money, I can tell. But oh, but anyway, I'm here. I'm happy. This is a good step up. I got to the next level. I beat the boss. I beat the boss on level 4 or whatever I was. Now I'm on level 5. I'm now, I went from an apprentice to a junior level wizard or whatever. I got my staff. I got a fancier cloak. I learned a couple of new spells. My hit points went up by, another 100. My defense went up. My offense, the power of my spells that I cast went up by about 50 hit points per strike. I'm on my way. But there's at least 25 levels to this game, and I'm only on level 5, so we'll see. But I need to chill. I need a place I need to be able to relax. I need to be able to unwind and stay in one place. I signed a 1-year lease, and I have absolutely no intention of packing up and leaving until 1 year from now. But I do hope that 1 year from now, I have the ability to pack up and move someplace better. And if something happens between now and then where I can upgrade my life and provide a place for my son to come and stay if he wants to, if I can do that in 3 months, I'll do it. If the money, if I get a new job, they do a background check and they decide they don't care, and this is going to be a long-term thing and it feels right, and I know I don't have to worry about getting kicked to the curb, and I'm making good money, and yeah, then maybe I will start looking for a place that's big enough for my son to come live with me and actually be a house. Maybe I can finagle my way into buying a house or a double wide trailer or something nice. A double wide home on a modular home on a piece of land that's big enough would be fine. There's lots of ways this can go. And so I'm hopeful. I'm certainly, if I look at the videos from April 3rd through the April 15th compared to what I feel like today, I don't even want to look at those videos. I don't even want to look at them. I don't want the trauma or I don't want that. I don't want to feel that knot in my stomach that asshole put me through. I don't even want to feel it. I don't even want to think about it. I'm going to talk about it for just a little bit longer, but then it's going to be in the past, and it's over. It's done. It's like when you beat cancer. Are you going to keep talking about cancer for the next 5 years? You'll talk about it if you're a cancer survivor. I'm a slumlord survivor. I'm going to talk about surviving my ordeal with the worst slumlord I've ever dealt with in my life for a period of time. But it's a survivor story. It's like I beat cancer. I got away from that motherfucker. And I stuck it to him. I stuck it to him. He didn't fuck me, I fucked him. He thought I was going to be paying. He thought he had me. He thought I caved in and was going to pay him the extra rent that he thought he was going to be making. And now he's making less money over the 6 months that the lease would have been. He made less money than he would have made if he had just stopped fucking around. And like I said, I have the grounds to take him to court right now and get money from him. And at this point, it's just one of those things that I'm like, it's not worth it. The negative energy that I was able to shed off by getting away from that prick yesterday is priceless. It's priceless. And so having to go through, like having that guy's name be a part of my life for however long it would take to go through the hassle of sticking it to him, even more than I already did. Just me leaving without giving him any notice and just walking out the door while he was at work, while he thought he was getting rent tomorrow or today. He thought he was going to be coming home to a rent payment sitting in his mailbox, and instead he came home to an empty fucking tiny house. I stuck it to him good enough right there. But my phone's about to die battery wise, and I don't even know like how good these videos are going to be on this phone. I'm using a different phone today until I get my workspace set up. And I've got some more things to talk about, good things. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to say peace out for now, everybody. Later.